many people are talking about what happened at Uvalde, the enormous tragedy where so many children died. I'm asked my opinion as to that incident, and I always like to answer with another opinion. How do you feel leaving your home, you're seeing your children go to school, and wondering if they're ever going to come home? How do you feel about your children having to go through active shooter training so that in reality a miracle could happen and they will save their lives? How do you feel about that? How do you feel about your grandchildren? Do you even care? The truth of the matter is we see so many politicians spin what happened. It used to be that they used to say, oh, my thoughts and prayers. I say stick that. There's no thoughts and prayers. Truth of the matter is, before you pray, you need to do something about what you're going to pray. And what you need to do is to pass common sense gun control. Now look, I'm in favor of the Second Amendment. I don't think anybody is against abolishing any of the amendments. But how do we deal with the fact that we are the only nation in the world that many parents are burying their children in school? The safest place that a child should be, in school. Your parents are seeing their children go to school, never coming back again. How is it that in the military you have to go through unbelievable training, as my brother-in-law has, so that before he could, be able to handle an assault rifle? There's no reason for a general individual, for a civilian to carry an assault rifle. All the excuses are here are a bunch of crap. Let me tell you about assault rifles. I used to own, maybe we own 50 Uzi submachine guns. You know why? Because, see, my soldiers were not very accurate. They were not marksmen. They were simply, some of them assassins. And the truth is that if you took an Uzi and you run up against a cop or anybody with a gun, trust me, once you fire a round on that Uzi or an AR-15, everybody runs. So when people wonder why resource officers that are armed are not going into those classrooms, because they're scared. The noise automatically scares you. It's like going to a duel with a water pistol. You just have absolutely no chance. But yet politicians are so enslaved to the special interest group, to the gun lobby, that they don't have the guts to care about what every individual, Republican, Democrat, atheist, Christian, Buddhist, whatever you want to be, should care about. Children. Every human being should care about a child. Child has no choice coming into the world, and many of them are defenseless. But yet, do we care? No. Oh, I give you thoughts and prayer. Oh, it's mental health. Oh, they spin it every which way you can imagine. But the truth of the matter is that it ain't. Yes, mental health affects a lot. But why is it that America is the only country in the world that buries so many children from school and mass shootings? Why? Ask yourself that. Why are we the only country in the world that has this problem? Why no other country in the world has this problem? It's really interesting. We're only 4% of the world's population, but yet we have 90% of the world's mass shootings. Think about that for a minute. Every human being, every mother, father, every man, woman, most of them have children. Most of them have grandchildren. I dread when my grandchildren go to school. My children should dread when their children go to school. When would they get that call that something happened? Look at the schools where this has happened. They're not ghetto schools. Interesting. They're simply good schools where just somebody is deranged that had access to a weapon of mass destruction. We invaded Iraq because they have weapons of mass destruction, which they didn't. But yet, we're arming Americans with AR-15, which are weapons of mass destruction. Don't give me that crap that they're good for hunting. What type of hunting? Are you a serious hunter? Use a bow and arrow. Make a really true gameship. No, they're there because in reality, they are created to create mass destruction. Isn't it sad that not only some of these parents lost their children, but you know what? They were not even able to see their face. Think about that. They were not even able to see their face as they buried them because their face was so destroyed from an AR-15. So when you think about politicians that are so enslaved and that are literally slaves, and I know, listen, I'm not talking about all politicians. I've said this over and over again. I'm generalizing. But let me tell you something. I used to buy them left and right. You give them enough money and they'll vote for whatever you want them to vote. It ain't their conscience. It ain't what's good for the American people. It ain't good for what is our children. Abraham Lincoln said the fate of humanity lies in the hands of our children. Think about what fate humanity has when our children are dying left and right because we don't have the guts to stand up to the gun lobby and do something about it. Stop this. Listen, anybody that is not able to be on a flight sheet that, is a no-flight report should not be able to own a gun. Anybody that beats a woman should not be able to own a gun. Forget about an AR-15, a gun, period. I can't own a gun because I violated the law and I became a convicted felon. So the law says because I'm a convicted felon, even though all the good that I've done, even that I've been clean for 50 years, I still cannot own a gun. I'm glad. I don't want to own a gun. I've owned tons of them. I saw the destruction that guns bring upon people. Once you take a life, you can't take it back. And many people that said, I have a gun to protect my home, bullshit. When someone comes in there with an AR-15 and you got an AR-15 and they shoot 3 or 4 rounds, I promise you, most of us are going to be hiding underneath a bed. I'm not telling you for theory. I'm not telling you because I saw it on Netflix. I'm telling you because I lived it. I've seen it up and close. There's no reason to have this weapon. We need to have we don't need to abolish the Second Amendment. We simply need to have common sense legislation. We should not allow people to go to gun shows and buy a gun. We should not allow people to buy a gun from someone else and not have to register it. We have to register our cars. We have to register and pass a test to get a license to drive a vehicle. We don't need to do anything to own a weapon of mass destruction. Come on, ask yourself that. And for those that don't care, and for those that think that, the liberals are trying to take our guns, tell me that story when, God forbid, it happens, that your children go to school and they never come back. Or your grandchildren go to school and you'll never see them again. Tell me then. Because I've seen so many that, said that rhetoric. I'm against all these liberals that want to take our guns away and all this crap, all this spin that is out there. But I remember one of them that lost their child. He changed his tune pretty quickly. He was devastated. I really felt like saying to him, why are you caring now? You didn't care for nobody else's children. Why should anybody care for you? I did not. Right? Because I grieve for that father. I grieve for that mother. I grieve for their children. They'll never be the same. That marriage most likely will end up in divorce, as it is statistics. So think about this again when we vote. And think about when we just let people dictate the laws. We the people are supposed to be the ones that dictate laws, that we create laws, that we put people in office. They don't walk into Washington and say, I am your congressman or your senator. We put them there. And if they don't have a conscience to do something to protect our children, the most valuable asset, the most valuable creation our nation has, shouldn't have the power to stay in office. So think twice. And when you hear that, just answer back, BS. God bless you. God protect you.